Hey guys, this is Jenna with Hill Valley Farm. We've got some updates of some does who have freshened. So I wanted to give you those to you and talk about what's coming up next. Let's get started. So Vista Oaks Cream Puff kidded, I think the day following the last video. On her due date, she had triplets. This is her little doe, and her little doe sold last week. And let's see, I'm trying to find, oh, this is one of her bucklings. So it was one doe and two bucks. So this is one of her bucklings. So the doe is Caramello. This particular buckling is Tic Tac. And let me find the other little guy. He's such a buck already. His name is, come on, Alice, Treacle Toffee. So it's kind of funny. It's like we started out with a little doe, and then the buckling, and then this guy. He is a Swiss, sorry, Bonnie was being mean. He is a Swiss guy with extensive white. It's like, we always joke, the ink printer really kind of screwed up. So he is just adorable. We are, because of Puff and her tremendous udder and conformation, we are offering both bucks as herd sires. Of course, if they don't sell like that, you know, I will have to sell them differently, just because, you know, we need them to move. That is the name of the game. So we are very happy she is going to a herd, and she's a repeat buyer. And oddly enough, she purchased Puff's, Bonnie is mean, Puff's doeling last year, Sugar Rush. So now she'll have Caramello. And so once again, we kind of went with a candy, sugary theme, because Cream Puff. So Caramello, Tic Tac, and Treacle Toffee. So that is Puff's triplets. And he's, of course, climbing on Butter. He is so adorable. Next up to kid, Hill Valley Buttery Mayhem here. She kidded with quads. I knew she had several in there. I had counted 3 or 4. And here are two, sorry, couldn't zoom in there. 2 of the doelings. She is golden white, and the other's like a chocolate. Very similar to one of Butter's doelings, Buttery Pecan. And so the golden white doe is sold. She's disbudded, blue-eyed. This one is blue-eyed and polled. She is not sold, so she's actually available. And out here is her third doe. So she had a buck, 2 does, and then 45 minutes later, this little lady was born. And she is actually stunning. Has pretty much stolen my heart, and I am retaining her. So she is retained for now. The buckling, because we just, 4 on a doe. I've talked about it several times. It's a lot. And Mayhem, she did really, really well last year. She had twins. I just didn't want her to have quads on her. So, just to let you know, that's Gilderoy making the noise. I don't know why the goats freaked out so bad. Anyways, back to regularly scheduled program. Would be flying around my head. Lovely. So anyways, Mayhem, she's a smaller doe. She's not like Butter, you know. I know she's got production, but again, quads on one udder is just a lot. I don't love it. There's a lot that can happen, like separating. I've had to separate some of Butter's from her. Actually, I've had to separate all kids from her for a while, just because they're just so rough on the udder. And there's 3 of those. So I chose to go ahead and take the buckling. He was sold. We had a reservation on a buckling from Mayhem. And so it just made the decision a lot easier. So he went as a bottle kid, and that is music to my little ears, because it's just so much easier when you can pull and they can go to their new homes, and then you can focus on the ones that are left on the dam. And so last night was her first fill. They're 2 weeks old, and she did really well. I will say she actually was in labor one of the mornings I had to be at work. I wasn't super worried about her. She really didn't look very close at all. And then by 12 o'clock noon, she was kidding out. And so I am so thankful for my dad, because he was on alert and was able to help her. You know, she didn't need any assistance other than, you know, breaking the sacks and drying them off. You know, when you got 4, you know, you worry because they're so concentrating on that first doe or the first kid, and you don't know if a kid will be born in the sack and not be able to break free, things like that. That's always a concern. And he did have to break some sacks. I'm so fortunate. We're so fortunate he was here. So big shout out to my dad, who handled the entire thing all by himself. They are so healthy. They were bouncing, but it was really funny. She had 3, and then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, she lays down and started pushing. He was like, well, is it the placenta that we're pushing out, or is it a kid? It was a kid. And so anyways, fortunately that kid was really healthy, and there wasn't a problem. That would be very concerning, and he was right to be concerned, but she's very healthy. So that's Mayhem. The next one to kid was Hill Valley A Foricim Mo. Foricim Mo, who is trying to fight twists through the fence here. Not cool, Foricim Mo. I knew she had a single. I counted like I did all the others, and I could only ever see one. I counted a couple different times because I just didn't want to believe that one of my really promising first fresheners had just a single in there, but I was right. And we have been so fortunate. The does have done so well. They've been kidding out on day 145, a couple 144. Foricim Mo broke that statistic this year. She went to day 150, and knowing that she had a single in there, it was driving me crazy, making me nervous. You know, you don't really want them going super long when you know they have a single. And so I had just decided, well, I had to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that Wednesday I was going to come home and give her induction meds. I don't typically do that. I've only ever done it one time, and it was with Butter when she had pregnancy toxemia. But I ended up just deciding that would be the best thing for Foricim Mo. And she's really not liking those does near the fence, so she's rubbing on it. But anyways, she surprised us because I had been checking her ligaments. I was joking with Kaden saying, well, they feel like a couple of 2x4s because they were so rock solid. Never softened. They might have gotten a little softer the day that she kidded the morning of, but it was super hard to check on her because she really didn't like her ligaments being checked. She's real finicky about her back end. So anyways, I came home that day from work, and I saw her in the field. And it was odd because I could see there was something small in front of her, and she had her nose to it, and I thought that no, she never messes with the kids, like ever. So a little closer look, and I could see a little kid with some ears laying there. And I called Kaden because I was like, well, she's kidding, in the field, in the middle of the field, like right over there beyond the tires. Sure enough, she had a single buckling, and he was out looking really, really good. And man, is he solid. This kid is very, very impressive. I mean, he is just, I don't know, he's just different. He's so solid, just like his dam. always has been. He has a rump that's really nice, width that's nice. He is sired by Cadesville Farm AX Leroy, and I was really excited about this. Sorry, there's wood bees fighting around my head. I was really excited about this breeding, mainly because, you know, Sheila, Vista Oaks, that's what she said is Foricim Mo's dam. And she is the one who had anaphylaxis last year to an unknown reason. We don't know. We hadn't given her meds or anything. We don't know. I suspect maybe an insect bite. I just don't know. But anyways, I had bred Sheila to Leroy, and was really excited because Sheila's just she was an amazing doe. And so I decided, well, I want to breed Foricim Mo to Leroy and see what we can get. Do I wish it was a doe? Absolutely, because she would be staying, but it's a buckling. So with that said, I had someone really looking at him, interested in him, wanting me to run some pedigrees on him. And then I had a repeat buyer, actually the same one that bought Caramello. She threw a deposit down on him. I woke up to it a couple mornings ago. So he is sold, and he will be going to the home where Sugar Rush and Chopper from last year are with Caramello. Obviously, the bucks will be, you know, they're separated from the does, but he is just a really solid buck. There are no moon spots on him, and he is brown-eyed, and he is disbudded. So he didn't get any of the fun things that some people really, really want, but that's okay because, man, he is just so nice. So I really like him. He's just really nice. I love his wide, he's got a really wide snout. He's just really the real deal. So that is Foricim Mo having her single buckling. Now behind him, this is on a side note, we have a chicken. We hatch chicks out in October. Guys, I don't ever recommend anything like that if you don't have the setup for it, which we do not, because when those chicks get out of the brooder and go outside, there is no grass and there is no bugs. There are no bugs. So it's just not a good time. They don't seem to grow the way they're supposed to grow. They're just not as healthy. And this hen has come down with, it's a mineral deficiency. She just left the brooder yesterday because she couldn't walk, and come to find out it was it's vitamin B mainly, and some minerals. So I have had poultry cell, been pumping her full of that, an electrolyte booster in her water, and vitamin B complex. We've been feeding her eggs, and she is a lot better. She may not look better right now. I'm gonna see if she'll get up and walk away, because she has been walking. Of course, he's gonna step on her. Oh, yeah. So she stumbles, but she can walk. And that right there is an improvement, because she just a few days ago could not walk. So I did some research. YouTube is amazing. Thank you, YouTube, because that's how I figured out how to help this hen. Now, will she have a long, productive life? I don't know. I kind of doubt any of them will. That hatched in October, but I know we typically talk about goats, but that's just a side note. I don't know. But she's a pretty girl, and she lays a really pretty egg. So we were trying really hard to get her back, and I feel like we did. At least this is a huge improvement. So that's the chicken that I have officially, I told Kaden I'm naming her face plant, because when she would start to try to run, when she was starting to walk, she just face planted. But you can see she will hunch down on her knees a little bit more. Well, a lot, or sit down. So, I'm sorry. I do think we're not completely out of the woods yet, but that's why we have a chicken around here that isn't walking normally like, you know, all the others do. Right there. We have a pretty big flock because we sell the eggs. So anyways, those are the goats. So that is Puff and Mayhem and Foricim Mo. The other things that I wanted to kind of go over was, what's next, what's going on. We had a pretty rough weekend. It actually started Thursday night. Daisy, Hill Valley Dancing Daisy, prematurely had her kids 12 days early. And that is so not ideal. And I knew something was pretty wrong whenever she did that. I had mentioned before, Daisy, I was having a hard time with Daisy through this pregnancy. She just didn't want to eat. She never wanted to eat. She never had any symptoms, no fever, no congestion, no scours, nothing. I mean, she just didn't want to eat, and she was never a big eater anyways. So she freshened on Thursday night late. It was really Friday morning at 3:30 in the morning. Woke me up. We got out here to two very, very small kids that were 12 days early. Of course, we jump into action, we do our thing, and got them dried off, got some, made sure they were warm, got some colostrum in them, and it just didn't look good. So I ended up deciding to let nature take its course and just left them with her at around 5:30 that morning. I thought, well, I think this is not going to work out. And you can't save them all. And so we tried, and we went in. I come out here, we came out to do tours, and they were still very much alive. And so I thought, okay. And I mean, it wasn't like I left them without I left them with a heat lamp and their mother and warmth and colostrum full bellies. Like, it's not like I just threw my hands up and didn't do anything. I mean, we did do all the things because she wasn't in milk. I had to go in and find my colostrum stash. Very, very important if you own goats and you're kidding out. You need some colostrum. Not replace her. I'm talking like saved colostrum from another doe that you have put in the freezer. And I date that colostrum. I'd say how old it is, like how many hours fresh they are, the date, the name of the doe, and about approximately how much is in that bag. And so it wasn't like I left them with nothing, but I just didn't have any hope. I talked to some breeders, and one of them was saying, 12 days is really the absolute most premature that they can be if they're maybe gonna live. So I started, making sure they were warm, always feeding them, making sure they, and they started doing, they were fine, it was a buck and doe, and sadly the little doe only lived about 36 hours. I wasn't shocked when she died because of the situation. I was actually shocked because of how good she looked just a couple hours before she apparently passed. So we did lose her. The buckling is still with us. And I actually haven't, he's inside. He's the bottle kid now. Is he gonna make it? I don't know. He looks okay now. He's 6 days old. And so we'll see. I've heard that they can crash a week later. We're doing everything we can. He's on a heating pad. He actually held his temp perfectly last night. That was the first time he had done that, even inside. So it's touch and go. He drinks an ounce at a time. That's the most he'll drink at a time. So if he drinks an ounce, I'm happy. He is gaining weight. He is doing all the things he's supposed to do. The sad thing, though, is sadly Daisy did not make it. She was okay when they were born, but after they were born, she never ate, she never drank, she refused all things, and we ended up losing her. Now, I am sad that we lost her. Daisy had a lot of promise, but when you look at a doe that she didn't want to be here, and I've said it before, you can't make something live that doesn't want to be there. If they don't have the will to live, you can't make them live. You can try, you can limp them along a little while, but you will not be successful, at least, and they will not thrive. It's gonna, a friend of mine, and she's a very dear friend, asked, what about blood work? What about vet? This is gonna sound crazy to some people, and if you don't agree with me, that's fine, but I need you to put yourself in my shoes. I have a herd of goats, and I have bred 15 does. I have way more than 15 does. I mean, we're sitting at about a herd size of 35. It's not a huge herd. We're about a medium-sized herd. That's including bucks. We may be sitting at 37, give or take a few bucks. And that's just the adults. I'm not even counting the however many kids we have. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 kids that we have now on the ground, plus more to come. So I know that show season is coming. I know I have to get health certificates. That means my vet has to come out and I have to pay for a farm call. It also means show costs, everything that goes into a show, gas, entry fees, extra feed, that I buy, the things that get us there, the things that keep us going at a show, everything costs money. And so I know what's coming. I will not sink a bunch of money in a doe that I've already been spending months trying to get back on track. It's just not going to happen because I have others. When I walked out of her stall seeing she wasn't thriving, I have the ones that are thriving and I see them, and that's the kind of does I want in my herd. I don't know why Daisy did that. I feel like she may have had stomach ulcers, and that's not good. And it's probably because she's a big pushover. She was a big pushover. She never fought for her food. She was one of the does that was always at the bottom of the barrel. Her dam was Sheila, and she was very close to Sheila. Well, when Sheila died, she had a buckling on the ground, and so Daisy was doting on the buckling. Well, the buckling had to be weaned and taken away because he's a buck, and he was sold. Well, then she didn't have her kid. She didn't have her dam. And I kind of feel like she just got pushed aside. And, of course, we try to pay attention, but we can't pay attention to everyone 100% of the time, And so I did notice that she had lost weight. And, you try to get it back. And we did. She did gain weight. We put her by herself or with a companion to give her some competition, and she ate and she did great. She actually did. But in the back of my mind, I always knew this is really risky, and she just ended up not doing well. So she had probably one of the most beautiful udders we have bred. And she, like I said, had a lot of promise, but I can't put a lot of things into a doe again when I have others that are thriving and that they are doing well. So that is Daisy. Is it sad? Yes. Is it ideal? No. And will we lose, or will the buckling live? I don't know because I've never had one so young. The youngest I've had was 138 days, and that was Clover. And she's out of Risky, and she's thriving. She's bred. She's about to kid in about 10 days or so, depending on when she actually does kid. So she's healthy and doing great. These were 133 days, and that's really, really not common. And definitely not ideal. They don't have teeth. They look like preemies, or the buckling looks like a preemie. The little doe did die. So, but we're trying, what's going to happen to the buckling if he lives? He's probably going to go to a pet home. It's a lot of work. It's around the clock care. It doesn't stop, and I have to plan all the things that I do around this buckling, that may or may not live right now. And so, that is the case with that. So next we have Dicey. Dicey is due May 8th. She's doing incredibly well. I'm going to look at my board to know who's next. The next one would be Ima. She is due the 21st of May. And then following her is Aurora. Aurora is getting huge. Bless Aurora. She's not due till June 2nd. So those are the next three that we have geared up. Dicey is looking like she's carrying a single. I don't know. It might be twins, but when I ultrasounded her, I saw single. Ima, it looked like, I think she was carrying two. I have to look at my board. Ima. Oh no, it looks like I said one. So we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully they're not a bunch of single bucks, but if they are, they are. As long as they're healthy and the doe is healthy, I'm very happy. I can't complain. I mean, Daisy was a huge letdown, and I hate that happened. However, when you breed this many, you know things might happen, and we have been very fortunate, very, very blessed. This has been a great year for us. All the does have done incredibly well, except for her. We have been blessed with more doelings than bucklings. Out of the 20, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bucklings. Not too shabby, you know. And most of them have sold. So, or the, you know, Butters is retained. So it's been a very good year. We do have doelings available. Check out our website. We do have bucklings available. We also can weather some if you're wanting a pet. I will be letting go of some milkers. I have one that's sold. I'm not going to explain who that is yet. But there will be more because I have to cut numbers continually in order to make room for the upcoming juniors, the yearlings this year that are going to be kidding out next year. You know, I got 8 of those. One of them is going to be kidding out as a yearling. The rest are going to be dry until next fall, you know, when I breed them in the fall. So thank you guys so much for sticking with us. I know it's kind of a long update, but a lot has happened. And so until we see you guys again, I hope you have an awesome goat field day.